Good evening, Reverend Father Paul and the teachers and staff of Bharat Mata School, Palakkad. I think, we will start today's evening's program because I think most of the teachers are already on board and all of them are anxiously waiting for the panelists to share their experience in adopting the new ways of teaching, which has now become an essential thing for all schools in the world. I won't say just India, but all schools in the world to adopt. So there is a big change, a whole big change in the area of education, in the area of teaching and overall school and college system. So without much ado, let me get started. I will start with, by introducing the panel. So first on the panel, we have Miss Geeta Dalal. Ma'am, can you just raise your hand and wave so that people can know there you are? Thank you so much. Geeta is a psychologist, special educator, and a dyslexia therapist who has helped and changed the lives of innumerable children and their families through her years of work in terms, essentially over these years. In terms of her qualifications, Geeta has a master's in clinical and industrial psychology, B.Ed in special education, certified art-based therapist, and drum circle facilitator and a brain gym instructor. But what truly what truly makes Geeta set herself apart is her patience and enthusiasm to constantly engage with students, guide teachers, counsel parents, and all this while she's constantly upgrading her own self and to be more helpful to people around her. Next in the panel, we have Ma'am, Jayashree Sheshadri. Jayashree is the head of primary section of Veer Bhagat Singh International School, Mumbai. She is responsible for the coordination with the management, teaching staff, and respective boards for the academic side of the complete primary section. She has an overall experience of more than 30 years in teaching, curriculum planning, and activities and initiatives to develop the young students' minds. Apart from a double bachelor's and a master's degree, Jayashree is also qualified for early childhood care and education and Cambridge International Diploma in Teaching and Learning. Currently, she is involved and responsible in ensuring the effective delivery and success of virtual classroom sessions for the primary class students of her school. Finally, on the panel, we have Rita Balachandran. Rita is a professionally qualified career counselor, mentor, and education consultant. She is currently aligned with JBCN International School, a well-known chain of schools in Mumbai, as an academic counselor, working specifically with the students of class 10, 11, and 12 across ICSE and IGCSE boards. She has more than 25 years of professional experience. She is the founder of the well-researched online career portal called perfectcareerfit.com, which talks about more than 750 career options to explore and achieve. She is a much sought after career counselor who helps students in the career, subject, school, and college choices. She holds a postgraduate diploma in counseling from TISS, that is Tata Institute of Social Services, and is a certified practitioner of strong interest inventory from CPP USA. Well, that is as far as our panelists are concerned. Okay, so now let me call on Reverend Father Paul, the principal of Bharat Mata School for the 6th year in running. I think the school is privileged enough. I was told that he was, after completing 5 years, Father Paul was scheduled to get posted somewhere else. And then this whole pandemic lockdown happened. And I think, if I were to use the term, I think it is good for the school that the father is still there in this school. And, he's there to help them adopt these new changes and this whole situation that has come up. So I think it's important because he understands the school. So Father Paul is very deeply involved in the growth and development of Bharat Mata School and is passionate about providing the best for his team of teachers and of course his loving students, ensuring that they are able to deliver their best. It was indeed a privilege for us when Father Paul expressed his desire to have this webinar organized so that his teachers are able to benefit from the combined experience of our three panelists in this webinar. Which says, say yes to the new age teaching. So Father Paul, I would just request you to say a few words and, set this whole webinar on the move. Thank you. Father, I think you are on mute. You just need to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, Father, you are.
Okay. So thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, Mr. Balachandran. And first of all, I would like to thank everybody, especially Mrs. Rita, Mr. Balachandran, and especially I thank Mr. Manoj Unni for coordinating the school management as well as with Mrs. Rita and Balachandran. Thank you so much. Now, first of all, I would like to welcome all the eminent panelists present in the webinar on Say Yes to New Age Teaching. We know the present situation, why we go for this webinar context. Understanding the importance of teaching and learning from anywhere in today's fast changing world. That is already mentioned in the invitation, I hope. And I think all of you might have noticed that. So it is very timely topic for our reflection, right? We have to take seriously our approach to the online classes, how to and what will happen in future. COVID will not go back. It will be always with us, and it will be ahead us, right? So new approach to education is to be researched, and this webinar could be a starting point to the new approach. So in this, I don't want to take much time because it's already 4:10, and we will make use of all the panelists now. So I put a word. I welcome all the eminent panelists, especially Rita Balachandran, Jayashree Seshadri, and Geeta Dalal. And during these difficult times, you have agreed to have an interaction with the teachers of Bharata Mata, trying to advise and guide and give some important instructions them on the new learning environment. My special gratitude to Ms. Rita Balachandran and Mr. Balachandran Unni for agreeing to conduct this webinar exclusively for our school teachers, our teachers. I also welcome all the teaching staff members of Bharata Mata for this wonderful session. And I hope you will interact and share your concerns and make this learning session an effective one. And as I told you in the beginning to the panelists and Mr. Balachandran, that our teachers are taking much effort and pain to conduct these online classes. You know that it is very difficult in this pandemic situation. But though they take much effort, and that my concern is, I already revealed to you that my concern is how can I satisfy these teachers, because some of the parents are reluctant to pay the fees, and since our teachers are taking much effort and pain and much tension, I don't know whether you know it or not, but our teachers, not only our teachers, all the teaching staff members are taking much effort, and they also have their own household works. And you see 24/7 that they are working. But in the normal classrooms, they take, I don't think that they have much tension or much effort they should take. But in taking online classes, if they want to prepare a 5 minutes video, it will take around 3 to 4 hours to prepare one video. So in these situations, I appreciate and I love my staff members, my faculty members for their dedication and commitment. So definitely this wonderful session webinar will make them a little more aware about the purpose and the importance or the scope of for this new, say yes to new age teaching. So let me conclude and I stop. Let me stop. So wish you all the best and enjoy the webinar, my dear teachers, my dear staff members. And you can interact with, you can ask any type of questions, any concerns that you have, we can very well you can raise maybe after each panelist talk. So wish you all the best. Enjoy the webinar. And once again, I welcome everybody to this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Father. Thank you so much. Okay, so now let's, without wasting much time, let's move forward quickly. So what happened was over the last 2-3 days, we had requested, the teachers to share some of the concerns and queries. And, we did receive a good number of concerns and queries. And what we did was we shared it between the panelists, and, each of the panelists have got about 3-4 questions from the teachers. And what we will now do is to go panelist by panelist and answer these questions. So I will start with Geeta ma'am. Okay, ma'am, how has the new age teaching methods being accepted by teachers as they are always used to physical classroom environment? Have you observed any behavioral changes faced by teachers because of this shift from physical classroom to virtual classroom?
Thank you very much, sir, for this question. Am I audible enough?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. So across the world, I mean, pandemic is there across the world. It's just not India or Mumbai or Kerala or anything like that. And believe me, the teacher community has become one, helping each other to grow. From country to country, suggestions are pouring in, and the social media is such that everybody is benefiting from it. Totally understandable that there is something called the comfort zone. Each one of us as a teacher has been in our comfort zone. We've been teaching for years. I mean, sir said that ma'am was there for 30 years. Rita's been there for long. I have been there. Like it's been donkey's years that you've been teaching. But this kind of a situation has never come. And I don't think that this will end or when it will end. That is a very big question mark. So adaptation to the new situation is what the world is doing. And to adapt to something new, it's totally moving out of the comfort zone. See, technology is not new. Technology has been there for many years. The new people, the young ones, they were very apt at doing this. People like me or what I see on the panel, we've been using it, but it has been like this. It wasn't like this. And suddenly, everybody is moving out of that comfort, and the panic created by COVID put everyone into a fear zone, out of the comfort and put them into the fear. That's the second zone. And what came in the fear zone? Will I be able to do it? So as teachers, we know the content, we have the method to deliver, we have the aim to help students. But the fear that came was, will I be able to deliver on this new platform? That was the only fear. The content is not new, the students are not new, the teachers are not new. It's just the platform, okay? Instead of a live class, we've moved into an online class, which definitely has its benefits. If today I'm talking to you or you are listening to me, that itself is such a big benefit, isn't it? Because I have never visited Palakkad. So, I mean, think of it, all of you together, if I'm seeing 60, 70, could not have come to Bombay, but that's what happened. So there was a time period of that fear zone. I think that was the period of March, maybe April a little bit, when teachers were finding excuses not to do it. They thought the schools are under lockdown and children should have a holiday, but holiday cannot continue. It's the human right of every child to be educated. And therein, the world, the community of teachers has beautifully adapted itself. I will really say beautifully, from comfort to fear that come into the learning zone. And everyone is learning technology. So this has come this, and believe me, from this learning zone where there are challenges and problems being faced every day, we are acquiring new skills, we are extending our new comfort zone, and it's tonight or tomorrow morning that we are shifting into the growth zone. And thereon, it's just a race. And a race for what? Our aim still remains one. The goal has not changed. The goal still is to deliver and look after the betterment of the children, the all-round development of the children. So if we cannot achieve our goal in the method that we were doing, rightfully, absolutely rightfully, the teachers have started doing whatever it takes to achieve the goal. One cannot change goals in life, goal is set, and the goal is children. So ideal is not changing the goal, changing ourselves. And like Sir Father said just now, teachers in your school have also beautifully adapted, and that's what is happening worldwide. I think teachers have, as far as behavioral changes are concerned, there was a period when stress was at its peak, believe me. And as a counselor, I was also full up trying to help every teacher by motivating them, getting them into that, crossing that line of comfort zone into fear zone and fear zone to growth zone. There was that thin line where it is like, the puddle is there is a rainwater, I need to cross. Can I jump over? Can I not? Should I jump over? Should I not? Should I hold myself back or should I cross? And what I find is everybody has crossed. Everybody is moved on. So if you are saying, Father, that your teachers are taping lessons and delivering content, perfect. Yes, I'm sure there is a lot of stress if you are doing 3-4 hours of work with your taping for a 5-minute content. Maybe that is the retake that you're taking. But I would just advise teachers, be natural. In a classroom situation, things were not 110% perfect. Why is it that you think that because it's being recorded, you can have 100%? It's okay to falter. It's okay to make a mistake. It's what you learn from that mistake and how you move on. That is what the children will remember and applaud. And if you've come out of that, that's what is the best. It's not the mistakes that they will remember. No mistakes happen on purpose. And in my opinion, it really is not a mistake also, because it's just a learning moment. If I falter just now, if I make an error just now, it's a learning moment for me that I should not do this again. Consciously try not to do this again.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
I think it was a great opening answer to the topic. Jayashree, we move on to you, ma'am. So the question to you is, Jayashree, you are heading a primary section of your school, So how was the transition for your teachers, especially in the primary zone, and, in over these last 2.5 months, how did they cope up? So, you are an actual teacher and you've been there. So I think coming from you will be very, very valuable.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Before I give my reply to the question, Mr. Bala, I would like to thank you and Rita for giving me an opportunity for being a part of this webinar. And I'm more than happy to get connected to the educators, especially from my native Palakkad and Jenichu Valarna Sthalam. So I'm more than happy to get connected to the people in Palakkad. Sorry, Geeta ma'am, you may not follow my language, but I feel so connected to use my mother tongue to communicate. Right?
I understand body language.
Right. Thank you so much. So, moving to the question that is being asked, the transition of my teachers into the new way of online teaching. Before the transition happened with my teacher, there was a lot of transition that took place in me as an educator. I am not a very, what do you say, current generation computer savvy. I use computers to the minimum. Yes, all our lesson plans, all our teachings, everything is in the computer. Yes, to deal with that much. But when this pandemic started, say in the month of March, and we were told to close down the school, the time when we head back home, the thought that came into my mind is, how are we going to be in touch with the children? Okay, there are hundreds of children that we meet every day. There are people who we look up to, and that's our life, because in the 3 decades that is put by me, there isn't a single day that I've not been to, not met kids or not spoken to. So a lot of transition, lot of fear, lot of unknown feeling in your mind that how you're going to take over the change. But yes, the management had been very helpful. And the first and the foremost transition I would say was with all of them is a change in the mindset. So the minute we head back home in the month of March, the time that we spend with each other in the school, probably it would be say 10 minutes meeting time with the head that the teachers would spend. But during March, April, we were more connected because we were all the time connected through either Google Meet or through Zoom. So that brought in a lot of connectivity amongst all of us. And we are a small team of say 30, 35 people in the section, but a lot of connectivity that happened, and with that I could feel the uh, the feelings that the teachers were going through, the kind of fear, the kind of uncertainness, the kind of questions that they had, that what is going to happen. So slowly we took time to understand the feelings of the teachers, and we started changing the mindset. We started speaking to them regarding what is our purpose. All of you know the purpose of being in the earth for all of us is truly only education, because we have chosen that field, right? Which is a very noble field. So I stick to the point that every time when you speak to an educator, we know the purpose why we are here, right? So in that term, the teachers started thinking that come what may, the education shouldn't stop. Okay, so the mindset uh, had to change a lot and accept that the pandemic is not going to get over soon. It's going to be over a period of time, but we don't know how much. But still, we need to keep our planning going. Okay, so when we broke in between without a conclusion in the month of March, somehow we completed with our own self-paced videos or recorded videos, where every day there was a learning by the teacher. First time what she made was not the thing that she made the next time, because she herself paced her speed, her audibility, her expression, her preparedness, everything. And then she said that, ma'am, I can do better next time. I think I faltered here. I think I could have done better this, or I could have used some other resources. So it was their own measurement that they did from time to time, which helped them to understand what will be the outcome. Like when you work upon a plan, what will be the outcome and how well you can modify the plan. So first and the foremost thing, they moved from being real in the classroom to digital teaching. Okay, digital, yes, we are all having digital boards in the classroom. We use it about the every make a statement and then you have a response. And with primary, like before you conclude only there are 10 hands up to say, Miss, can I say this? Miss, can I share that? So it was very difficult without having a response how to build on your team point. It is not easy. Okay, teachers found it very difficult, And the tips that I used to give them is, imagine you have 50 seated in front of addressing to the kids. So to get a feel and to make it real was a bit challenging in the beginning. But yes, somehow they have learned to do that, and now it is taking a shape.
Thank you so much, Jayashree ma'am. I think the point that you made is suggesting to teachers to keep the class photo in front. I think that was a brilliant idea. At least you will get the feel. Now we move on to Rita. So Rita, do you think online way of learning is equally effective for students? Will it have any other impact on the performance in the long run? So you as a counselor, what has been your experience, especially since you are part of a school also? Rita, you are on mute.
Yeah. Thank you so much for, Father, for letting us do this webinar for your teachers. And my focus has always been working with students of all age groups. So right from the younger ones who have been coming for counseling to the ones who have now moved to universities. And it's always their interest as much as it's as for the teachers, as counselors. For us also, it's been the student and what is their mindset. So I very strongly believe that, our schools, what they provide to our students at this moment is, they provide 3S. And those 3S are basically, the support that a school gives. The school gives a system to, a student, and the school gives a structure. So what is missing right now is not a school, but probably the buildings have closed. So the schools are still going on as it is. Yes, the buildings definitely has closed down. So for a student, the support that they were looking from the teachers, I think still has been accepted very well by the students and given by the teachers. So what has changed is the technology, and this technology has helped us bridge that gap, because earlier it was our schools, systems or structure or support which was bridging that gap. And right now I feel this technology has helped us bridge that gap between us and our students. So the learning, as Geeta ma'am in the beginning said, our teachers beautifully know their concepts. So there's nothing that they have to prepare. Yes, the medium of instructions have changed. So adaptability to this medium of instruction, the earlier we adapt, the sooner we are connected back to our students. And I feel that each one of us, as teachers, counselors, everybody in this community has adapted well. Yes, there have been challenges and we all face that. In fact, I remember the day we were closing down for our school, the first question which was asked by every teacher was, how will we do it when we are not physically there? But from there to now, the transition has happened very well. And our students definitely are much more savvy. So I don't see the learning changing for them in the long run in any form. Yes, the way and the method has changed. So it's like, reading a book to watching a movie. You still understand the concept both ways. And some are more comfortable reading a book while others are more comfortable watching the same concept in the form of a movie. So nothing has changed in terms of concept. What has changed is in the way of, delivering that concept. And for our students, I think they are much more savvy than us in accepting this knowledge through this technology.
Thank you so much, Rita. I think that was useful and interesting. I think that perspective was needed. Geeta ma'am, I'll come back to you. Okay, I'm just coming back. So the next question to you is, I mean, again, this has come from the school teachers, Bharat Mata school teachers. So, naturally it is expected that, there is a lack of personal touch as far as the teachers are concerned. And for teachers who have been there for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years teaching in a classroom session, physical classroom, that lack of personal touch is a very, very disturbing thing. So, so the teachers believe or feel that they are not able to reach the students, or they are not able to gauge their reaction and stuff like that. So how do you think this whole, how can we tell the teachers that, in this new technology or new age or new platform or new method, how do we counter that, because for a teacher, that gratification is very important, that she has taught and the students have understood. Now, in the case of Bharat Mata, for example, a lot of the teaching is happening through recorded sessions. So the teachers don't have an idea, they have delivered, but whether the student has got it or not, that feedback is taking long time. So there is this concern. So what would be your guidance to them? You are on mute, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the best in this is live session, like we are having just now. Because recorded session is something that is not happening for the children at a fixed time. They are being sent that, and they are looking at it in pieces or at various times. And because they are not in front of us, see, being in front of us like this also is not the most ideal one, because you are closing vision. It's just the computer screen that you're seeing. It's like a horse wearing those blinders, You can't see that peripheral vision. In a classroom situation, a teacher's eyes move like this and like this. So that's perfect, okay? But when you are recording, you are looking at a wall and recording. You are looking at a computer and recording. So I can understand that there is no satisfaction, because you do not know what the delivery of that lesson is doing to the child. Ideally, if it is possible to have live sessions which will be more natural for everybody. The teacher will talk in a natural manner. The teacher will behave as, because she will see the children, there will be that good morning children, and the children will say good morning, miss. If you're asking everyone to mute, they will chat and they will write good morning, teacher. That itself starts the day on a wonderful note. So, that I can totally understand not seeing anybody in front of you and just saying record things. That is like a course on Coursera or Udemy or something like that. And the only solution to this is, like I said, the goal change. What is going to happen a year from now? That is going to be a reflection of the choice that you make today. So you have already made one choice, is to deliver online. First step crossed. And now think about it, that if it gives immense satisfaction, like it does, for me also it does. And I ask the children to switch on the video, because I don't want to see a blank screen, just the names there. I don't like it myself. Only reason being, who am I talking to? Is there someone? Even while listening to something, that sparkle in the eyes can be observed by me, or a nod of the head, like Miss Sanjana was saying something in Malayalam. I have no clue what she was saying. All I heard was Vanakkam, but her body language lifted my spirit. So, that's exactly what happens to a teacher when she sees the body language of the children. And for the children to be right there. So to question, like for this webinar, you've been told, teachers, that you can ask questions at the end of it. But think of it, if you were allowed to ask me a question right now, you don't have to wait, because that waiting period loses many things. So that recorded lesson, yes, one thing is good. You are sticking to your goal of delivering and enhancing the learning and knowledge of the children. Yes. But see how you can move out of that zone also is what I would suggest. Because it's not very difficult, at least the school where Rita and I are both working, we've been completely online. It has never been recorded. Yes, the live session is being recorded. And if some child has been absent, we are sending the recording to them. But it's not a recorded session that's being played, and it hasn't been very difficult. Of course, the IT will have to be involved in using a lot of technology. But for the teachers, whether you are delivering on a recorded lesson or you are delivering with students in front of you, it's going to make a lot of difference. Because you can see the smiles or even the question marks there. With the head down, this gives me a different signal. Miss, you can't hear me, but that sparkle in the eyes, that gives me a smile because I know I have got across. I have been able to reach you. My aim is to reach the children. What else do I have? Content is all there on Google. My aim is to reach the children.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. I think that was so nice and so pleasing to hear also. So Jayashree, we move on to you. Jayashree, I think you may need to change the name on your screen. So people are thinking your name is Sanjana. I think it's your daughter's name.
I'm Jayashree.
Sorry.
You are Jayashree.
That's okay.
Okay. So Jayashree, so adding on to what Geeta ma'am was talking about. So in your school, because you are handling the primary section, what methods have you adopted and what are you using to make it more effective as far as the teacher is concerned for delivering and the student is concerned in terms of accepting?
Teachers were encouraged to do a lot of research work, and we attended a lot of webinars in the month of May. And these webinars gave us a lot of information about the nuances of online teaching. So, and also what do we practice in our school is we have a regular study circle session. So this study circle is mentioned as groups where we have English SS group or Math Science group or the vernacular language group separately. So here the teachers who are teaching those subjects are put together, and there they interact with each other about their preparation and also demonstrate about their preparation to each other, how they have planned, what they have planned, and what is that they're going to teach. So probably, everybody has some amount of experience and everybody has something to add on to the other teachers' teaching. So this interaction helps a lot. So this is a regular practice otherwise also, but especially with the online teaching, what we did is it is being very useful because the other person who is viewing the preparation made by you is your own colleague. Okay, before it is put forwarded to the kids. So the colleague gives an opinion about your pronunciation, about your preparation, and about the resources, the visibility, the audibility, the pace, so many things, so many areas of your teaching, you're getting a feedback from your colleague. And then the teachers add on to whatever the feedback that she has got. And from there, she's moving on to making it as a final cut. That was one of the things. And teachers were encouraged to learn from each other during the study circle. So what I learned today, I'm going to teach you. So it was a kind of give and take. It's not only that it's a competition that I do the best and I won't allow you to do the best. So here there is a lot of unity that is required. And ultimately, എല്ലാം പഠിപ്പിക്കുന്നത് കുട്ടികൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയാണ്. So നമ്മൾ ആര് ബെനിഫിറ്റ് ആയാലും അത് ആരുടെ മുഖാന്തരം ബെനിഫിറ്റ് ആയാലും ultimately we have to see the best is going to happen. So this is where you have to work with them to say that can we share, can we teach each other and empower each other so that they are able to get it right. So this is one thing that we practice regularly. And also with every session when we are online, what we do is we have a session only for the PowerPoint presentation only meant for the session. So if I have say 2 sessions for today and I have for 2 different classes, I have 2 different PPTs, and this PPT starts with the school name, then I have my learning objective for that particular session, and followed by what is it I'm going to take up. So the points are already given, and if I have to insert any online video or any other resource that I want the children to view it for learning, this was put up, and also consolidating the learning. And every session, what we did is we kept a kind of time limit for the interaction with the children, because that is very essential for the teacher to get a feedback about how her session went by and how it is received. So this kind of planning of every session, with this kind of specific planning about how much time to devote for your introduction, how much for your main teaching, how much to keep aside for your resources, use of resources, and how much time for your interaction. And last 2 minutes are for consolidating and giving one personal touch. Kutigale manasilayo, or a question. So, like, though you may not wait for the feedback because you have to log into another session, but that kind of human touch towards the end also gives a kind of satisfaction for the teacher. I don't know how satisfied the kids will be, but definitely the teachers get that immense satisfaction saying, okay, I could put across whatever that I have planned. So the specification is very, very important. And also what we did is, like, when we had the larger unit of lesson objectives, we broke it into smaller units. So based on the smaller units, the PowerPoint presentations were prepared. And for the online teaching of math and science, the teachers used a lot of online tools like Jamboard, OneNote, which is very helpful for teaching mathematics and science. And each session we had this PPT, and teachers will actually plan what is essential for them to manage is the time. So keep aside time for every specific thing and see that you're sticking to your time, because it's not only the planning, but you need to stick to your plan to say that I shouldn't go overboard because my students dragged me to ask so many questions, and I just kept aside whatever I had to do it later on, and I just kept giving them answers. But like, you need to plan how many children I will listen to, and you can choose and see that we choose different learners for different sessions, so that children also get a feel that teacher is listening to me, or I am I am able to ask my teacher my doubts or whatever. So these kind of things were definitely helpful. And what we planned is, when we planned our timetable, we planned it in a way that every day there is one different subject that is there to learn for the children. So it's not only 4 subjects, English, math, science, social studies, but there is one co-curricular subject, like maybe a physical education, or maybe an art session, or maybe there is a craft session, or there is a music teacher who is taking over the session. So this actually rejuvenates the minds of the children with online learning, because it's not only just looking at the screen and listening, but there is some amount of stimulation that is very essential for the children. So the PE teachers also had a bit of challenge of how to teach PE through online. But like, we enabled them to position their camera in a way that they are from far, and their audibility is effective. And then they give instruction, and then they demonstrate different exercises. But it was a huge success, especially with our age group that we did.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you so much. Jesse, നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞത് ശരിയാണ്. ടീച്ചേഴ്സിന് എല്ലാം ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുള്ളത് മക്കൾക്ക് സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന് അത് നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത് മനസ്സിലാകുന്നുണ്ടോ, അതിനുള്ള മെയിൻ ചാലഞ്ച്. പക്ഷെ ആസ് എ ടീച്ചർ നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞ മാതിരി എനിക്കറിയാം, ഞാൻ ക്ലാസ് റൂമിൽ എങ്ങനെ പഠിപ്പിക്കും അതേ രീതിയിൽ നമ്മൾ ഓൺലൈൻ വന്നാലും മൈൻഡ് സെറ്റ് അങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഐ തിങ്ക് മീഡിയം ഡസ് നോട്ട് മാറ്റർ. എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനും കൂടി വീഡിയോ കൂടെ ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് പറയുമ്പോ അതിന്റെ അർത്ഥം നോർമലി ആൾക്കാർ വിചാരിക്കും ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ഒക്കെ വീഡിയോയിൽ ആരെങ്കിലും ചെയ്യോ, അങ്ങനെയാണ് ഒരു മൈൻഡ് സെറ്റ്. പക്ഷെ നമ്മള് അതിനെയും മോഡിഫൈ ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഫിസിക്കൽ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനും വെരി ഗുഡ്, വെരി ഗുഡ്. ഇതിലൊരു ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, നമ്മളൊരു കാര്യം ചെയ്യാം, ടീച്ചേഴ്സിനോട് ഞാൻ പറയാം, ഈ സെഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ജയശ്രീ, ഇഫ് യു ക്യാൻ ഗിവ് us the list of tools that you are using, അത് നമ്മൾ പിന്നെ ഇവരുടെ ടീച്ചർ ഭാരതമാത ടീച്ചേഴ്സിന് we will just share it with them. We will share it with them, all the different tools. നിങ്ങൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ടൂൾസ് നമ്മുടെ ഈ ടീച്ചേഴ്സിനും ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ ആകും. So moving on quickly, because we have large number of questions and the time is running. Rita, the next question is for you. So one of the things that has become an area of concern is, online way of teaching has reduced social interaction, and which is becoming a concern for the teenage students. So students who are, let's say, 13, 14, 15, class 9, 10, 11, 12, those people find it very difficult that they are not able to mingle with their friends. They are missing their classrooms, their friends, etc. So does this impact their learning also, Rita? Rita, you're on mute. You're on mute, Rita.
Yeah. Yes. So, as I said, what got us here won't get us, we can't continue to be where we want to. So what we all got to be here won't get you there. So for our children also, when the medium of instructions move from a classroom to a virtual environment, yes, social interactions changed. They become much lesser. And there are a lot of times when children are coming to school only because they learn from peers, or they want to meet their friends, or maybe there is one specific subject that they really enjoy, or maybe there is one teacher that they look up to and they want to just meet that teacher. So students are coming to school for various reasons. And now when they are in the four walls of their own houses, and they are meeting very restricted number of people, it is definitely playing a lot in their mind, so they are still wanting to go back. So the day the school will give them a chance, I'm sure each one of them would love to be back in the school. But what, as a teacher, what we are required to do is to then create that informal platforms for them where they can still connect with us. Like I have been counseling students in terms of what their future could be like in terms of careers or education, but I'm approachable to each one of them through my WhatsApp, and that's how they are all connected. So the same is happening in an informal environment, which is what they also need. So I can understand that, for the senior teachers uh, who are giving live sessions, they are still connected. But for the junior class teachers who are giving recorded sessions, it would mean extra effort to maybe, just call up the parents and speak to them. It would, yes, requires a lot of more effort, because on one side you are preparing for your sessions, you're delivering, and your children are just waiting to hear from you, So if this means that you have to go back and give that extra effort or time to your children, they are wanting to be connected. So the connection is not now only through the content they are listening to, by seeing your videos, but connection is when they are listening to your voice of concern, or maybe in an empathy. So what we need to now create is increase our adaptability question first. If we become more adaptable to the situation, and we say that our children definitely need more engagement right now, because so being in the four walls definitely impact their learning. If your mind is open, your learning is also open. But right now, because they are in the constrained environment of being inside the four walls, the learning also definitely goes down. So it's important for each of us as teachers to probably go back to them, connect with them in an informal environment. So wherever it is possible, today WhatsApp has become a means to connect very quickly with our children. So how Jayashree was saying, that one reflective question in the evening, or that one reflective chat with your students in the evening, especially with the primary cannot connect like that, but the secondary definitely can connect with you. So, and in those kind of platforms, they can open up, they can share with you. Like, I'll give you an example of my own daughter who's in 10th grade. Her class teacher connects with them on, Zoom call every third day. And it's like, every third day they are having discussions, they are having chats. It's not a discussion about the subject. So reaching out to ensure that the students feel connected with their teachers is a very, very important part of this learning. And definitely, as we all said, that content alone is not what is required, because that's available at a lot of resources these days. And for a world that we are preparing them for, the World Economic Forum says that the world needs their skills, they don't need their knowledge. And the future of education is going to change as the skills of future will also change. So when that is changing, the first part is, in that skill is an empathy, and that empathy is something that we as teachers need to build. And then we need to engage. So maybe we can collaborate with the parents, maybe we can collaborate with the younger, especially the younger ones. So my heart goes out to them, because they are the ones who really would love to see their teachers. So I've heard of cases where they've even kissed the screen because they could see their teacher on the screen. So similarly, if you call them on a WhatsApp call, and then sometime in the evening reach out to maybe one child a day also, that means a lot to them, and that will definitely help them in their learning process.
Thank you so much, Rita. I think that was useful. I think the suggestion that you gave of asking the teachers to try and see how they can interact with their students directly, that means either through a WhatsApp call or through a regular call. ഇതാരോ പറഞ്ഞ മാതിരി നമ്മള് നോർമൽ ടൈംസിൽ നമ്മൾ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനെ നേരിട്ട് ഫോൺ ചെയ്തിട്ട് സംസാരിക്കാറില്ല. പക്ഷെ ഇന്നത്തെ സമയത്ത് നമ്മൾ വീഡിയോ കോൾ ചെയ്താണ് പകരം വൈകുന്നേരം എല്ലാ ദിവസവും 2-3 സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനെ നമ്മൾ നേരിട്ട് ഫോൺ ചെയ്തിട്ട് സംസാരിച്ചിട്ട് അവരുടെ ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് എടുക്കുന്നതിൽ it will be very, very useful, and the students will feel connected. The teacher will have the satisfaction of being able to talk to the students. I think that's a good suggestion from your side. Geeta ma'am, coming to you. Okay, so I think it is an extension of the same question. So it says curriculum learning involves behavioral aspects, social interaction, child exposure, moral aspects, and motivational learning. How far do you think this new way of learning will be successful in achieving all that? I think you're on mute.
I always do that. Sorry.
Shows that we are all still adopting
very
technology.
True, very true.
All of So these are all very normal stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
So as far as motivation is concerned, I would like to tell everyone to think of the Goldilocks story and the Goldilocks rule. Goldilocks and the Three Bears is a very famous fairy tale. And the rule, Goldilocks rule as they call it, which says that if things are very simple, there is no challenge and there is no motivation. If things are very difficult, that's the biggest bowl that Goldilocks got, the bigger chair and the biggest bed where she was feeling low. You fail. So you feel very low. So you are demotivated. But yes, the medium-sized bowl, where there is a little bit of challenge, there is a little bit of concern, and there is a little bit of need in everyone to learn, to grasp something that is new. And that is the biggest motivation for everyone, to have a bowl of food which gives you the chance to grow and also to see success in that, because it has to be an achievable goal. As far as social things are concerned, like Rita said, that, she's making the best effort. We also, like Zoom has a wonderful platform called breakout rooms. So every time you teach through Zoom, you can divide the classroom in the number of breakout rooms that you want and put in children that they meet in that one room to discuss things. So as a group, they make the presentation then. So every time the group changes, one leader is chosen. So automatically team building, because that one leader has to build their team, discuss things, and come and present. So it's like the Queen of Sheba game. The Queen of Sheba says that every team will have one leader who will be representing, and for every game there will be a new leader. So every person in the class gets an opportunity to be the leader. And believe me, one thing is definitely there. There is less bullying, I think, because things have gone online. Physical fights are not there. So that role of the counselor has reduced. So concentration is more on things which see you progress rather than regress. And mind is the biggest engine. The limitation in anything comes only as far as we limit our mind. So if we can see the wide expanse of the sky, believe me, we can achieve that. But if we are going to be focused, like I said, the horse with the blinders here, then we're going to see and achieve only this much. But we need to move beyond that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. And I will go on mute again. Call me if you want me.
Thanks. So Jayashree, here's something interesting, because you amongst the panelists, you are the the actual teaching staff, if I were to say. So what has been your experience in terms of teaching subjects which require a practical aspect? So for example, if there is a teacher who has to teach biology, or somebody who has to show material, show things, show reactions, etc., where practicality or practical sessions and experiments are important. So അവിടെ നമ്മൾ സയൻസിന്റെ സബ്ജക്ട്സ് ആണെങ്കിൽ അതിൽ എങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ പഠിപ്പിക്കാനുള്ള what are the ways you can do it?
What we did for science and math teaching is that we tried using the demonstration method, where the teacher is demonstrating and placing the camera. When you're capturing the demonstration is very important, because it is your hand and the demonstration should be clear to the students, not the other parts of the room. So that was very, very crucial. So we had to take shots and reshots and modify our own presentations with that. But that was very helpful when the teacher understood the angle of the camera. And ഇതെല്ലാം വീട്ടിൽ വെച്ചാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ ആർക്കും പ്രൊഫഷണൽ സെറ്റപ്പ് ഒന്നുമില്ല, ക്യാമറ സ്റ്റുഡിയോ അതൊന്നുമില്ല. സോ they went to such an extent that വീട്ടിലുണ്ടായിരുന്ന ബാത്റൂമിലുണ്ടായിരുന്ന 2 ബക്കറ്റിനെ എടുത്തിട്ട് അതിന്റെ മേലെ ഒരു പ്ലാങ്ക്, ഒരു വടി വെച്ചിട്ട് അതില് ക്യാമറ മുകളിൽ വെച്ചിട്ട്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ക്യാമറ മൊബൈൽ ഫോൺ അതിന് മുകളിൽ വെച്ചിട്ട്, then the teacher did the experiment in between the 2 buckets. Can you imagine? ഇത് വെറും real life situation, because see, the teacher is in our house and she has to show the teaching of, say, condensation or whatever. So how does she show? So idairunno easiest way. But only thing is just putting in your head and think how you can make it more real and make it more easier for the children to understand. Yet I have only limitation by way of whatever the gadgets that I have at home, but making the best use of whatever that is there and doing it. So this was one thing. And what we did is, we have a lot of videos that is downloaded from AAAmath.com site. Then we have Math is Fun site, then GeoAlgebra site. These are the sites generally the teachers use for using math sessions, make it more easier for the children. And with science, we generally take stuff from Pinterest. And there is one Arvind Gupta site where you get all low budget experiments. This site is very helpful because വീട്ടിലുള്ള സാധനങ്ങൾ കൂടെ അയാൾ കാണിച്ചു തരും. അതൊക്കെ വെച്ചിട്ട് നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ സയൻസ് പഠിപ്പിക്കാന്നുള്ളത്. And science is nothing but how you make it interesting. So that is very helpful. And we have also one this edu.rsc.org site. and futurelearn.com site. So these were the sites that the generally teachers use. And main thing is demonstration method. That was how we made it as more practical sessions were very easy, and experiments. How you can do an experiment. And of course, ഇവിടെ നമ്മളുടെ full family cooperate ചെയ്യണം. Maybe husband capturing you doing your this thing. Somebody is ensuring that there is nobody knocking at your door. വീട്ടിൽ പുറത്താരും വന്ന് ശബ്ദം ഉണ്ടാക്കരുത് because you are recording the things. So the whole family, in short, is educating a whole lot of people. but that was very, very interesting. When the teachers share all these during their regular staff meetings, that I meet them once a week, like, this is how you know that how things are happening. But yet the spirit has not died. They're so happy because we get complimentary mails and letters from the parents saying that for them all this story is unknown. Correct? അവർക്ക് ഇതൊന്നും അറിയില്ല, നമ്മൾ എന്താ ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്നുള്ളതൊന്നും അവർക്കൊന്നും അറിയില്ല. അവര് ജസ്റ്റ് കാണുന്നത് എക്സ്പെരിമെന്റ് വളരെ നന്നായി ടീച്ചർ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു, പക്ഷെ അത് എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്തു എന്നുള്ളത് ഓൺലി ദ ടീച്ചർ നോസ്. But yet they are happy, and that is what keeps us going.
Very nice. Very nice. I think it's so encouraging. Okay, Jayashree, it will help if you can put on the chat box, if it is possible, these names that you mentioned, these sites that you mentioned, at least നമ്മളെ ഓഡിയൻസിലെ ടീച്ചേഴ്സിന് അത് കാണണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ കണ്ടിട്ടെടുക്കാം. അതിന്റെ പുറമെ നമ്മൾ സെഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടും നമ്മൾ 2000 രൂപ അവർക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും അയച്ചു കൊടുക്കാം. സോ ദാറ്റ് വിൽ ബി ഡൺ. ഓഡിയൻസിലുള്ള ടീച്ചേഴ്സിന് അഥവാ എന്തെങ്കിലും ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ചോദിക്കാനുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ പ്ലീസ് ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിലേക്ക് വന്നിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ ചോദിക്കൂ. റൈറ്റ് ഡൗൺ യുവർ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ. ആൻഡ് അത് പ്രത്യേകിച്ചിട്ട് ഇപ്പൊ ഏതെങ്കിലും സ്പെസിഫിക് പാനലിസ്റ്റിനാണെങ്കിൽ അത് നിങ്ങൾ പാനലിസ്റ്റിന്റെ പേരിട്ടിട്ട് question എഴുതിയാൽ മതി. നമ്മൾ we will try and answer it at the end of the session. Okay. Rita, we will move on to you now. So, what is your experience or what is your thought process when you look at students from different age groups? I mean, how do they adopt to this whole online teaching, online sitting for the classes, and pre-primary to secondary to higher secondary school? What is your feedback on that as a counselor? What has it that you have seen?
So see, as Jayashree was saying, that when a teacher is recording a session, the whole family is involved. So same, I think, goes with the students as well. When especially a younger child is learning, so the whole family is involved. The role of parents have definitely increased a lot. So I'm part of various parenting groups, and I know that sometimes parents say that it's very difficult because we are balancing between our work and then wanting to be there with the children, because we can't leave them alone in front of, whether the learning is happening through a Google Meet or whether the child has to watch a recorded session. So yes, definitely the role of parents has increased, and that is why I said collaboration at this time is very, very important. And empathy means, we always have heard a proverb that, put yourself in other person's shoes, only then will you know what the other person is going on through. But putting into somebody's shoes means first you have to remove your own shoes, only then will you put on your, other person's shoe. Which means as a teacher, I first have to remove my own shoes and see what my child is going through. And as a parent, I have to also understand that, okay, what my child is going through. And as a student, I have to understand what my teacher is, doing in this. So there's a very important role that collaboration at this stage from each one of the stakeholders. So whether it is a parent or the student or the teacher and the admin staff, which is also making it all this possible along with them. So yes, learning is very different. When the younger children are there, they need a lot of hand holding by their parents. But when it is an elder child who's, very comfortable in handling technology, all that we need to ensure that their learning is effective by asking them to reflect back. And we've already discussed that, how can they reflect back? so that we know that what we are sharing with them, they're also listening to it or they are watching it, and then there is a learning which is also happening, because in a classroom, when you see their expressions, or when they raise their hand, that the child has learned and is curious and is asking a question. But when you have shared a video with them, you don't know how they are, so their feedback is a very, very important part, so the intention is there. Each one of us is here to make the learning happen, but only thing what has to be learned is that there is the screen time that probably has increased for all of us. In that scenario, how can we make, especially the younger ones, again I'm saying, because they are the ones who are still not so used to the screen time, they need a lot of hand holding by parents, and the teachers have to reach out to them probably personally. But for the elder ones, they are very comfortable. Like my interaction is mostly with grade 10, 11 and 12 students, and we are always on phone, sometimes till late in the nights we are interacting with each other. So for them, it's a comfortable environment to learn. Yes, they are missing out the social interactions, which is also now they have created multiple, like how Geeta ma'am said that within Zoom that you can create the break even rooms and you can interact. So for them, it's more of reflections that we have to ensure, which make sure that the impact of learning is still being understood by them. But the younger ones need more of hand holding by the parents, I feel.
Thank you, Rita. Okay, so next, I have a very interesting question which I will want all the three of you in the panel to answer one by one. We will start with Rita. So just to explain to the audience of teachers from Bharat Mata, എല്ലാവരുടെയും ഒരു സംശയമുണ്ട് ഈ സമയം 4 മാസത്തെ മാറും 6 മാസം കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ മാറും it will change after 4 months or 6 months or 12 months. The situation will change and we will go back to our normal classrooms. That is what some of the teachers are of the opinion in all schools. Many of the schools, the teachers are feeling that it is a matter of another 2-3 months, and then after September, October, then the school will have to open. So whatever I have missed teaching in the online, I know when I meet the students, I will make it up. I will cover it up. I will make it up, etc. So how far do you think? I mean, we all know that this COVID is now here to stay. Whether we accept it or whether we don't accept it, whether we believe it or not. COVID permanently we have to make ourselves adaptable or adjust around COVID. The situation is like that. So Geeta ma'am, I just want you to start, and then Jayashree, you can speak, and then again coming back to Rita as to how do you think we should as teachers look at the situation, because is this going to be a permanent situation, and then if it is permanent, then what should be my mindset in terms of delivery?
Yes. Okay, so I really don't know, and nobody can predict how long this is going to go on. Nobody in the world can predict this. What is past, I know that the last 3 months have been bad. What is now, I know what we are going through. The future, no one has seen. But I think we have had time enough to prepare ourselves for whatever is to come, for however long it has to stay. Like I'm saying, as teachers, our goal need not change. The methodology can see changes, can see shifts, and over a period of time, educational policies have seen changes. From Gurukul to small classes, to huge classes, to bigger schools, to BMC schools, to private schools, to home schools, everything has been changing. An online school is the next step.
Very
I mean, that was never there. So I think from this, we need to shift to these pressing buttons. We need to, because otherwise we are the ones who's going to be left behind. We are the ones whose aim will not be fulfilled. We are the ones who are going to feel frustrated if we do not teach, if we do not deliver, and if we do not see success in the children. I mean, ultimately, our aim is to see successful children who, after years, if you see them, oh my God, you've grown so much. I remember teaching you in this year and that year. But if we are not going to deliver today, the only opportunity for us is online, and we need to deliver. Come what may. Like I said, comfort zone to fear zone period is over. It's the growth zone period. Move on, teachers, move on, world, to the progress zone. And we have to show COVID that we are not going to be limited in our goal just because you are visiting us. How long you're going to be as an unwelcome guest in my house, in my country, or in my world, I have no clue. But ultimately, the research is going to throw it out. How long that research will take, unpredictable. So I think for the moment, we need to be prepared and completely go.
great. Nicely put. Jayashree, what's your take on this? You know, എപ്പോഴാണ് കുറെ ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് ഇങ്ങനെ വിചാരിക്കും ഇപ്പൊ നന്നായി പഠിപ്പിക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല, പക്ഷെ അത് സ്കൂൾ തുറന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഐ വിൽ മേക്ക് ഇറ്റ് അപ്പ്, ഐ വിൽ ടേക്ക് എക്സ്ട്രാ ക്ലാസ്സസ് ആൻഡ് ദിസ് ആൻഡ് ദാറ്റ്. സോ ഡു യു തിങ്ക് ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് എ ഫീസിബിൾ തിങ്? ഹൗ ഡു യു ഹാൻഡിൽ യുവർ ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് ഇൻ യുവർ സ്കൂൾ ഹു ഹാവ് സച്ച് തോട്ട്സ്?
ആലോചിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പോ നമ്മൾ ഒരു കുട്ടിയൊരു 5 ദിവസം ഊണ് കൊടുക്കാതെ ഇരുന്നിട്ട് 6ാമത്തെ ദിവസം നീ 6 ദിവസം ഊണ് ഒന്നിച്ച് കഴിക്കണം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ആ കുട്ടിയെ കൊണ്ട് കഴിക്കാൻ പറ്റിപ്പിക്കോ? Can we feed? We can't, right? But നമ്മളുടെ സിറ്റുവേഷൻ നോക്കിയാൽ right from March, നമ്മളുടെ life has changed a lot drastically. Okay, when the sudden lockdown was announced all over India, ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മളുടെ എല്ലാ കടകളും അടച്ചു, എല്ലാ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളും അടച്ചു, everybody was homebound, but still we found a way out to meet our daily requirements. നമ്മള് പാല് കുടിക്കാതിരുന്നില്ല, ആഹാരം കഴിക്കാതിരുന്നില്ല, വെജിറ്റബിൾ വാങ്ങിക്കാതിരുന്നില്ല, എല്ലാത്തിനും വി ഫൗണ്ട് എ ഡിഫറെന്റ് വേ. കറക്റ്റ്. നമ്മൾ മേ ബി ഓൺലൈനിൽ ഓർഡർ ചെയ്തിട്ട് സാമാനങ്ങൾ വരുത്തിച്ചു, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പോയി വൺസ് ഇൻ എ വീക്കിൽ ആ ടൈം ലിമിറ്റിൽ വെൻ വി കുഡ് മൂവ് ഔട്ട് വി വെന്റ് ഔട്ട്, ബോട്ട് തിങ്സ്, കെയിം ബാക്ക്, ബട്ട് വി മാനേജ്ഡ് എവറിഥിങ് ബിക്കോസ് ഇറ്റ് വാസ് സപ്പോസ് ടു ബി ഡൺ ദാറ്റ് വേ, റൈറ്റ്? So when we change our mindset that this is the new normal and I need to adapt to this, and come what may, that I'm not going to change my plan just because I think that soon I will be able to meet. And even if it is that the school is going to open, can we foresee the challenges that we will undergo at that time? The kind of insecurities parents will have. നിങ്ങൾ സ്കൂൾ സാനിറ്റൈസ് ചെയ്തോ, ടീച്ചർക്ക് തുമ്മലുണ്ടോ, ചുമയുണ്ടോ, ടീച്ചർക്ക് പനിയുണ്ടോ, അല്ല ടീച്ചർ എന്റെ കൊച്ചിനെ തൊട്ടുവോ? What all we are going to answer? It may not be nothing related to your learning that the questions will come. It will be all about the child's well-being. The health will be forefront questions from the parents. So we need to really think about the future. Is saying that it's better that as and when I'm getting time, I prepare and I finish my portion for the time being. I will not keep it aside for a day to come and see that appa nammal onnichu ellam cherthi padipikam. It is not going to happen like that. So നമ്മൾ കിട്ടിയ സമയത്തിൽ പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്യുക, അത് അതിന്റെ പോലെ. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് നമ്മൾക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ ഒന്നിച്ച് വായില് കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല, 15 ദിവസത്തെ ശാപ്പാട് ഒന്നിച്ച് വായിൽ അടയ്ക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അത് കുറച്ച് പോകുമ്പോൾ, അതും ടൈമിൽ പോകുമ്പോഴേ അതിന്റെ അകത്ത് പോകുള്ളൂ. So the head is not different, the brain is not different. You can't feed too much of information at a time. As and when it has to go, it has to go. And if you keep it empty for a long period of time, also there will be a problem. നമ്മൾക്ക് acidity വരുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ കുറച്ച് നേരത്തേക്ക് ആഹാരം കഴിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല, because your body is just not ready to accept food. The mind is staggered for a longer period of time. Do you think the mind will accept information from you? It will take long to process. So everything has its own procedure, its own way of doing. So നമ്മൾ അതുപോലെ പോകുക. And we can't anticipate that ഓഗസ്റ്റിൽ സ്കൂൾ തുടക്കം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സെപ്റ്റംബറിൽ everything will become normal. We cannot predict the future because everything seems to be so uncertain. So my guidance to my teachers were that we just plan the way how we would plan normally. Let us see by the end of the term whether we need to cut down on the portion. Otherwise, we are going in full swing how we otherwise also used to plan, and everything like one June we took a call how much we used to cover up in the regular school and how much we have to carry it forward for July because it was online teaching. Believe me, it was very, very minimum that we had to carry forward what we didn't do in June to July because it was online teaching, because the number of hours got reduced and the number of days got reduced. But yet we managed to complete it. So our preparation will not stop, and my teachers are well motivated because we feel that it is our need and it is our duty to complete whatever that we feel is to be given at the right time and at the right place.
Thank you so much, Jayashree. I think അത് നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞത് ശരിയാണ്. You can't, 15 ദിവസം ഒരു മാസത്തെ കോഴ്സ് നിങ്ങൾ 5 ദിവസത്തിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ തീർക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. So നമ്മൾ we have to do whatever we have to do little by little on a daily basis and do our best and then see. Rita, what would be your take on this query that has come?
So my take is that we have already accepted this new way of learning, and in fact COVID has made us change our way of learning. It has given us a beautiful time first to probably connect back with our own families, spend more time with them. It has given a beautiful time for us to upskill, each one of us. What we were predicting that okay, technology will change in future or internet of things will be something which will come to us in a near future, it went on a fast forward mode. So it gave us this disruption, gave us a challenge that we have to upskill, and that's the different approach. All that we now need to do is see, we all have intention, we have all implemented also. What we just now need to do is to make an impact on our children so that they can make an impact on the world. Worldwide, because I'm in touch with a lot of universities internationally, everybody is spending a lot of time, effort and money on technology, because at this stage it is very difficult to know as to when this situation will change, when the world will be open to welcoming students back in their schools or universities. So as teachers, we have to see that how do we upskill and how do we make sure that we are very, very comfortable the way we are comfortable in our classrooms. That's the only thing. And for that, if we just reach out to even sometimes to our own children at home, like asking that okay, I want to learn this concept, or I want to probably learn from a new website or learn from a new app, to make sure that whatever we are delivering is making an impact. I think that's the approach that we need to follow. In terms of online learning, this is now to stay. So this method of hybrid teaching, even when the schools will open, will probably become some part of the school learning environment. It will not now go totally. So even if we'll go back to the physical environment when we are back in the school, whatever we are learning during this period will become very helpful as a tool for us when we'll go back in the classroom. So I'll give you an example. The other day I was doing a TED club for my school students, and we did a question. We asked a question to everybody, and there's an app called Padlet, and everybody responded through that app. And believe me, even a child who is shy in the class came out with that answer, and the child who's much more vocal and vibrant and extrovert automatically gave an answer. So this method of teaching, I think, made an environment open for everybody to react. So whatever skills that we are learning during this time, though it was a forced learning on us, I think is going to stay with us forever till the time we are teaching, and will make a huge impact, not just on our children who will say that, oh wow, my teacher has learned a new thing, not just a concept but a way of teaching. And that's how we are also telling them or teaching them that adaptability is something which is the most important skill at this moment. If we will adapt, they will automatically adapt. So that's the only approach which has to change now.
Thank you so much, Rita. I think that was very interesting. The last bit that you said, നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസും നമ്മളിനെ അത്രയും ജഡ്ജ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട് in terms of how are the teachers managing these tough times and how are they trying to upgrade themselves so that they can teach us better. അപ്പോൾ സ്റ്റുഡൻസും ഇത് നോട്ട് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് എത്രയാ upgrade ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് and how are they helping us and how we should react to them. So I think അപ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞു വന്നപ്പോൾ ഈ സിറ്റുവേഷൻ അത്ര വേഗം കൊണ്ട് മാറില്ല. I mean, this situation will continue to be there for a long time. We have to be only focused about delivering our educational part. Audience-ലുള്ള ടീച്ചേഴ്സിനോട് റിക്വസ്റ്റ് ഉണ്ട്, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അഥവാ if you want to ask any question, please write it down on the chat box. We will try and answer. We don't have much time left. We have one question which has come up from a teacher called Deepa Mukundan. So Geeta, this is to you. The question to you is that how can we effectively teach kindergarten students writing skills, especially when the parents find it difficult to manage them since they are very restless, and especially now that they are at home?
Okay, I have unmuted. Okay, so kindergarten ideally is not the right age to start writing, because the fine motor skills have still not developed. Everywhere abroad, formal education starts at the age of 7. Paul Dennison, the founder of Brain Gym, says that movement is the base of learning. The more the child moves up, down, sideways, every part of the body moving, the head moving, the vestibular system inside, that cochlear, that liquid moving, creating a balance in the body, is what is going to give them gross motor skills and fine motor skills. So being restless and not writing on paper and pencil is perfectly fine. You could get them to knead the dough, develop this. You could give them sand or mud, they could write something on that. Even forming circles, shapes, all that will help. Okay, you can give them beads, they can string the beads. You can give them water, and there has to be a judgment how much water they have to pour. It should not overflow, it should not be less. You can give them a sponge to dip in water, take it out, take it to another place and squeeze. So that squeezing is also developing these muscles, which will ultimately help in holding this. And ideally, if they are writing, you need to teach them a skill of picking up the pencil. If you can see this, it has to be a small pencil. This is too big, all right? Or maybe it has to be this size. Pick it up like this, show them the trick, and turn it like this. When you turn, it is resting here. And then this finger goes down. And that's where that fine motor has developed. So use chalk, use a slate, small slate, big slate, board, anything. Let there be rice in which they are writing, let there be wheat in which they are writing. They are just forming shapes. Don't use paper and pencil at the start. That's criminal for little children to say. Give them development and then it will go fast. Otherwise it will be, nagging, moving, and then little bit of that. Don't do that at all. No pattis. No, not at all. That's not the right way to do it.
Thank you so much. So, the time is up. I mean, we didn't quite realize. So 1.5 hours have gone by like a whistle. And I think we have been able to answer a lot of the questions, or rather most of the questions that the teachers had shared with us earlier. And then, of course, there was this one question here. So as they say, all good things in life do come to an end. So I think this session has also, we didn't realize how quickly 1.5 hours went by. So please may I request Father Paul to, sort of address the audience in the end.
So can I add just one more thing, please?
Please, ma'am, please.
Dear teachers, believe in yourselves. You're doing a wonderful job. Pat yourselves this way, hug yourself this way. Just believe that you are doing a wonderful job and look after yourselves. Because if self-care is not there and if this cup is empty, nothing will come out of it. You can't pour from an empty cup. So fill your cup with care and love and confidence and move ahead.
Thank you so much. It was so brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now I'll request Father Paul to, sort of give the passing remarks.
Before that, can we ask the teachers to put on their cameras, and we would love to see them all for once.
So, we request each of the teachers in the audience, please, everybody in the audience, switch on your video. We would love to take a snap. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hope all the teachers were listening too, right?
In the video host, ma'am, I am Sandhya Appu. Video host off video
okay, Rita, just check out if the video is open for everybody because it has to be open.
We can't open.
No, ma'am, you cannot start your video.
Start your video.
Has disabled it.
പക്ഷെ അത് ഹോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആർക്കും ഓൺ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടാകില്ല. പക്ഷെ ഇപ്പൊ എല്ലാവരും ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ അതിന്റെ അർത്ഥം നിങ്ങളെവിടെ നിങ്ങള് സൂം ഓൺ ചെയ്തപ്പോ നിങ്ങള് ചിലപ്പോ അത് വീഡിയോ സെലക്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടാകില്ല. കുഴപ്പമില്ല, നോ പ്രോബ്ലം. We just wanted to see the audience here. Thank you so much. I hope it was useful. Father Paul, please go ahead.
Again.
Okay.
You cannot start.
So I hope all the faculty members are fresh and motivated, right? All of you.
Yes.
All of you.
Yes, Father.
So you are all on unmute or mute.
Okay,
very good.
They can show a thumbs up.
And, they can show like this if they are happy. If they are not happy.
Like this.
So I can.
But our video is not on.
Yes.
Ma'am,
Video on ആക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
നിങ്ങള് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്തപ്പോ ആദ്യം ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടാകില്ല. ബാക്കി ഓൺ ആണ്. അപ്പൊ നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ ഇൻഡിവിജ്വലി ഓഫ് ആക്കിയിട്ടില്ല. It is on from your side. You have to switch it on from your side. We have switched on. നമ്മുടെ ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് എല്ലാവർക്കും ഓൺ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്.
ആദ്യം വന്നിരുന്നു, വീഡിയോ വന്നിരുന്നു, ഇപ്പൊ ഓൺ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
I also like that.
I'm putting on everybody's video on. Just give me 1 minute. I'm doing it one by one, and you are a bit number, so just give me 1 minute.
Okay.
ഇതിപ്പോ
So meanwhile I can talk, right? I can speak.
Yes, Dr. Paul, speak a little louder.
Yeah, okay.
Father Paul.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let me put one question that if the pandemic exists for a long time, do you think that it is possible to continue online classes for a long period? Any analyst can.
Geeta ma'am, you want to take a shot?
I will take a shot. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, we do not really know. Nobody in the world knows how long this is going to take. So I think the Girl Guide and the Boy Scouts motto in the world says, be prepared. Be prepared. And if it ends sooner, we will be the happiest person to welcome the children back, like Rita said, in the school building, which is cement and mortar. School is actually in our hearts. And like I said, our goal remains the same, whether you are in the brick and mortar building or you're sitting at home and teaching through computers. Just make it interesting. Have the confidence in your own abilities, because you have it in you. The locus of control is within you. If you're going to give the locus of control to that COVID virus, it can play with your emotions. Why give them the control? Keep the control in your hands. I am going to be prepared and I'm going to be delivering. I'm going to see the children progress. That's it. That's it. However long it takes.
So, Father, I will, just add to what Geeta was saying. ഇവിടെ ഉള്ള എല്ലാ ടീച്ചേഴ്സിനും, നമ്മുടെ പാനലിലുള്ള എല്ലാവരും നമ്മൾ ബോംബെ നിന്നാണ്. So we are speaking from Bombay. അപ്പം ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരു കാര്യമുണ്ട്. We are talking about schools facing this challenge. In Bombay, I know of most of the tuition classes have also gone online now. Can you imagine that? Forget about schools. Even the tuition classes have gone fully online and they are taking their classes. So children are attending school first online and then they have their tuition timing, which is online. So, this is going to be, an accepted way of educating, an accepted way of teaching. And I think everybody is getting used to it now. നമ്മൾ എത്രയും വേഗം ഇതിനെ ഒരു റിയാലിറ്റി ആയിട്ട് ആക്സെപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യണോ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു അത്രയും നമുക്ക് ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ബി ബെറ്റർ. ഇത് കാര്യങ്ങള് എത്ര വേഗം മാറുന്ന നമുക്ക് പറയാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാണ്. സോ അതുവരെ അറ്റ്ലീസ്റ്റ് വി ഷുഡ് ബി റെഡി ടു സേ ദാറ്റ് ഓക്കെ വി വിൽ അഡോപ്റ്റ് ദീസ് ന്യൂ ടെക്നോളജീസ് ആൻഡ് വി വിൽ ഡെലിവർ. Like the way Geeta ma'am was saying, our final goal remains the same. That doesn't move. But how do we reach that goal? Now that route has changed. So we will have to change the route. And I think it will be a difference.
Yes, I accept all these suggestions and all these things. I accept it. But in case of city like Mumbai or Chennai or Delhi, it is possible. But the Palakkad, the town like remote town like Palakkad and all, how far and how long? The question, I think.
Father, if I may take the liberty of answering that question, so I think, there is a research or there is a report which says that the amount of internet growth has been far, far more in the non-metro cities over the last 8 months. Over the last 8 months, in fact, the internet growth has been so high in the non-metro cities, in the semi-urban areas, in the rural areas. So internet is now a reality and it will be accepted. So for example, in a country like India also, we are talking of internet access as high as about 50% of the population, about more than 55-60% of the population is on internet today. അപ്പോ ഇനിയിപ്പോ അത് ബോംബെയിൽ നടക്കണു, ചെന്നൈയിൽ നടക്കണു, ബാംഗ്ലൂരിൽ നടക്കണു എന്ന് പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല. കുറച്ചു കാലം കഴിയുമ്പോഴേക്കും ഇന്റർനെറ്റിലാണെങ്കിൽ അത് എവിടെയാണെങ്കിലും it will be available. So that is slowly becoming. Yes, it will take a little longer for Palakkad to adopt and accept and bring in those changes. But definitely it will happen sooner or later. അതാരോ പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു ബോംബെയിൽ നിന്ന് നടക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒരു മാസം കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് അവിടെ എത്തും. പക്ഷെ എന്തായാലും എത്തും, അത് ഉറപ്പാ.
So any teachers can interact with, they can pose some questions.
Father, before we move on to the questions, I just wanted to add something. This was a time when a lot of children were wanting to finish or were at the end of their grade 12 and moving on to the universities, and were also planning to move to different cities or different part of the world, and nobody was ready for this kind of a situation. But the whole world has changed. The world has changed not in terms of the location and the geography, but the world has changed because it needs to change right now. And the earlier that we will accept that we need to change, the easier it is. So universities across worldwide are spending a lot of money on technology in terms of making sure that the learning can happen in a remote way or in a hybrid way. Universities like Harvard, Stanford, MIT, which are the worldwide, the best universities, are also ensuring there's no child which is, in their university campus, and the learning can happen, through online. Which are, and by that they are setting us examples, saying that right now it is not a matter of, geography, but it is more of a situation which has made the world one common place. So in that common place, the practices that we will have to follow as teachers probably will also be the same. The only thing is, yes, we have to now collaborate. So maybe find out what teachers are in Mumbai doing to what teachers in Kerala are doing, and then adapt those best practices from each other, or maybe learn those best practices from each other. So, so the time has made us accept that this is what probably would stay with us for some more time, and it will also become a part of our life, of the way we will teach to our children. So I think for each one of us, because we are at different age groups, so our acceptance also probably will vary because of the age groups that we are in, or maybe the different subject that we are teaching. But it is something that we all, I think, should be with open hand, open mind, and open heart, should accept that this is how it will be.
Father Paul, just to add to the, answer, my father is about 83, 84, and I think he learned how to use a smartphone and WhatsApp over the last 6 months. And now I see that he is taking pictures by, around the flowers and the cat and the trees and this and that. And that he'll post it on WhatsApp. Now to imagine, and my father-in-law, let me share with you, my father-in-law, who's going to be 90 in the next, in a month or so, he's so active on Facebook. He gets so, and he learned it all in the last 1 year. So it is just a matter of being ready to accept the new way of thinking. A 90-year-old man who goes in for a smartphone and got into Facebook, and ipo ayala sondam video undakkum, ayala sondam prarthana parayum, and then he will publish it on Facebook, he will publish it on WhatsApp. So you see, these are the things which you really get encouraged with, and say that if this gentleman can do, and he is more than 40 years older to me, then I better learn how to use it. And I learn it from my children. So today, for example, all this webinar, etc., our daughters actually help us set it. They are the ones who are helping us, and we have no problem learning it from them. Thank you so much.
I will add to this, Father Paul.
Yeah.
Geographical barriers are not there, and grass is always greener on the other side. So you may think Bombay is advanced and Bombay is better, and I will think Palakkad is so much more beautiful. Palakkad teachers are so happy faces, so hardworking, such simplicity, and not boasting in doing it. Still they are doing it. I think the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah, the teachers
Let's work together. If we can help you in any way, dear teachers, we will be available. Just count on us. But when we need you, we will visit Palakkad.
Welcome. So our teachers are very much interested doing all these online classes.
Wonderful.
But from the part of from the side of parents, as I told you, in the beginning, from the part of the parents, sometimes they make some kinds of so they're reluctant to accept this type of online classes. Why should you do that? What is the purpose of doing this? And within 5 minutes, how can you going to explain all the concept? all these types of questions are raised by the parents. And the most thing is, the hidden thing is, they do not want to pay the fees. That is the problem. That is the main problem. So in this situation, in this situation only, I asked the question that is it possible and how long? So the parents also have to accept the modern reality, right?
Yes, yes, very true.
So keep webinars for parents.
Yeah, we will.
Giving them
we will do that.
Please do that.
Yeah.
Because they have to understand that it is the fundamental right of the child to be educated.
Yes.
If the school building is under lockdown, the child's education cannot stop.
No, the thing is, they are asking, why they are asking such questions is, you are not using your structural or building, or school is not opened, and then why should you ask to remit the fees and all? These type of questions.
So I think Jayashree will be able to answer it. Jayashree will be able to answer it better.
That's what.
So the right teacher. But I will just, before she answers, I will say that I think teachers, you see, at the end of the day, the parents are not paying the fees to the building or to the window or the door or the laboratory of the school. They are paying the fees so that the school is able to pay the teachers, the faculty, and the members. And in a time like this, the teachers are working double.
Yes.
To make sure that the children are getting the best of education. Parents cannot forget that, because just because the school building is closed doesn't mean that the teachers who are there in the screen right now, they are not working. It is not fair on the parents to even think on those lines that school building പൂട്ടിയിരിക്കണല്ലോ, നിങ്ങൾ ഇലക്ട്രിസിറ്റി യൂസ് ചെയ്യണില്ല, നിങ്ങൾ ക്ലാസ് റൂം യൂസ് ചെയ്യണില്ല, പിന്നെ നമ്മൾ എന്തിനാ ഫീസ് കൊടുക്കേണ്ടത്? നിങ്ങൾ ഇലക്ട്രിസിറ്റി കൊടുക്കണത്, ഫീസ് കൊടുക്കണത് നമ്മുടെ ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് ജോലി എടുക്കണത്, അവർക്ക് they have to be paid the salary. And the teachers during this time, last 3 months, every teacher all over India, all over the world are working double time, not the normal time. They are working double time. So, parents have to understand that. Jayashree, you want to answer that quickly, how you are managing it in your school? I think Father Paul is requiring some help as to how teachers are helping parents understand this question.
Father Paul, the scene is not different here in Bombay. Maybe what I paisa undengilum illengilum, the attitude is that, as you rightly said, because school the children are not going to school, why pay the school? Okay, so this like we too have been facing the same situation right from last January, I would say, because the parents have the tendency to pay, say, once in 3 months, 4 months, not regularly. So when we started with the pandemic, this thing in the month of March, since then the fees is on hold. Okay, but the management has been considerate to pay, because for the teachers now there is no time limit. Poor thing, most precious citizens, I would say, are the teachers. They are the wealth of our country. So we shouldn't think twice to pay, because they are working from home, because they are doing a wonderful job of managing the house, balancing their chores back at home, and yet taking interest to keep the education going. I think no amount of money can compensate that. Okay, forget about no amount of money, but at least the regular pay. But where the parents are ready to pay, they have their own issues, that they have lost jobs, or they have been in half pay, or they have been in whatever issues that they have. See, everybody has got their own set of issues. But the thing is, teachers also are taking extra effort to continue the education and to keep the learning going forever. So the scenes are not different in Mumbai. I think it is the mindset of parents all over the world. When you see educationtoday.co, when you go to their site, you get to see that this is the mentality. And also, even if I don't have the mentality as a parent, when I read, I start taking it to myself. So this is a very general situation that all of us are going through. But definitely, talking to them, and as Geeta ma'am said, holding a webinar and making them aware of the importance of having regularity in education will only bring in some change in their mindset.
Okay, my dear teachers, you can pose some of the questions, queries. Any clarifications?
If you want, you can mention
are there?
in the chat box.
Teachers, you are there?
No, I think we managed to answer a lot of it in the beginning, but teachers are most welcome still, I think, because we got feedback from the teachers in some way.
No doubt, no clarifications.
Hello.
Only we ask questions, right?
I have a question for Jayashree teacher.
Yeah.
Jayashree teacher, can you kindly tell me how to use the Jamboard, especially for science teachers? You mentioned it. Along with Zoom, can we use Jamboard? And just I would like to.
With our setup, we have the G Suite made for the children. So we have the G Suite ID created for the children, and the teachers are also given a G Suite ID from the school side. So with G Suite, what happens is you can easily go into all applications of Google and then use your Google Apps rightly for your teaching. With Zoom, I'm not very sure that how effective you can use it for your teaching, because we have been tried or we have been working through Zoom at all. It's G Suite IDs that is helpful for us to work with it.
So it works very well. If
Thank
you are
you.
using any application of Google, then all the Google platforms and apps work very well. So if it is, if you have a interaction over Google Meet, it will be much easier for you to use Jamboard rather than using, Zoom for that. So similarly, if you are using, let's say, any other link for any feedback, let's say a Mentimeter or, any of these applications, Mentimeter can be worked anywhere, but any of the Google application works very well when you have a Google Meet, like how Jayashree said that.
Thank you, ma'am.
So as far as Bharat concerned, we have already registered and we have a ID for G Suite, and probably within 1 week it will be ready. Make it ready for the team.
So I think one of the important things, Father Paul, is that to make sure that all this is well taken care of. I think I'm sure your team is working on it. So you need a very strong IT team who can help put all these things together and then share it with the students. So I think that is what is because none of the schools were ready none of the schools ever expected or anticipated that they will have to be so much ready. So I think, quickly, you need a strong IT team who can help you with all these plugins and all these applications. And we can, share whatever is detailed, like, for example, Jayashree ma'am was, I think she has already put on the chat all the different types of applications that they use in their school, so it can all be, as we said, we are here to, suddenly in a problematic situation like this, all teachers are willing to help all teachers.
We have been working the whole month of April and May to make this happen in the month of June. Creating IDs for every single child through G Suite, and teachers had their own IDs for the school. So linking, like, the teacher's ID to the class, and there are teachers who are interacting with multiple classrooms. So it's not easy to link the teacher to multiple class because they need their IDs for multiple class interactions, and not that GMeet is very practical. It is having its own challenges, but yes, as whether you are in Kerala or whether you are in Bombay or whether you are in any part of the world, if there are network issues, there are issues. Okay, it depends upon your internet service provider, like, whether you have a private provider or you are dependent upon your BSNL or MTNL or whatever way. So everywhere there are challenges with regard to.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Father Paul, for arranging this wonderful session for us. Thank you, one and all. I thank all of you on behalf of the Bharat Mata family. Thank you.
Next, we'll move to Ms. Deepa from KG section. Deepa. Are there?
Hi, everybody. On behalf of the entire Bharat Mata family, I would like to thank Mr. Balachandran, Mrs. Jayashree, Ms. Rita, and Ms. Geeta ma'am for a very informative session. It was very informative, and it definitely gave us an insight into new teaching methods and showed us how the education sector can adapt to the changing times. I'm sure it will be beneficial to all of us as we step into the new era of virtual classes. Special thanks to our principal for arranging such a webinar. It was very informative, and then I think we all got something to learn from this. And thank you for sharing your email ID, Geeta ma'am. Definitely, I'll be in touch with you. If I have some doubts, definitely I'll call you or I'll mail you. Thank you so much. Okay then.
Yeah, next time we'll move to Sushma Mohan. Sushma Mohan. There? Sushma Mohan? LP section, anybody? Sushma Mohan? Anybody from LP section? Hello? Hello? Okay. So, Mr. Balachandran, let us conclude the section.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, let me take this wonderful opportunity to thank everybody, and especially Mr. Balachandran for moderating this session. It's wonderfully and it's so beautiful. So beautifully you were moderating the session. I like so much. Thank you so much for this wonderful session and moderating. And Mrs. Rita Balachandran and Mrs. Jayashree Sheshadri, then Geeta Dalal, then Rita ma'am. So I, on behalf of Bharat Mata family, extend my sincere thanks and gratitude for conducting such a wonderful session. Say yes to new age teaching, and I hope all the faculty members of Bharat Mata will definitely say yes to new age teaching, right?